welcome to the channel. Thanks for checking out the video. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get to it. This video is about my thoughts on Oliver Anthony and the success of his music, and we're getting into a few different things. Oliver Anthony took over the internet for a minute, and his music meant something to me as well. And I wanted to share some thoughts from a few different angles. So when I first heard this song, I was a little put off by it, actually, because of the way it was shot, and the message clashed for me. The message is that of someone that's been ignored and beaten down, and yet he comes across to me as someone who's used to the lights, camera, and attention. And the way that the video was shot, it's like a little bit glamorizing, the focus, which is Oliver. And I just think that goes against what the content, the message is, to a degree that matters. The background of the video, I thought, really supported the message. That's just where he lives, I think, and you can see his truck in the background and his dogs and stuff, and so that all speaks to the authenticity of the message. But in other words, I didn't buy in immediately, and I still don't fully, but I do think he is a wonderful artist, and he pours himself with lots of effort into his music and his singing in particular, and his music is ripe with authenticity. Rich Men of North Richmond has a number of moments that are extremely powerful, and it has a general message that is spoken by the combination of the content and musical backdrop that really hits home. The insanity of the new world marches on like an inevitable tragedy that we are powerless to stop and forced to endure. There are subtle melodic adjustments from line to line vocally that are so well chosen and delivered, you really do have to tip your hat to the performance. It is a great performance. I really enjoyed diving into his catalog a bit, and I had a great time listening to Ain't Got a Dollar and 90-some Chevy. There is a richness to his performance because he is fully committed and is drawing from personal lived experience. Fundamentally, it made me glad to see his success, if only because I think it indicates folks are starting to open their ears to different messages, different kinds of music. I guess this is a more traditional kind of music, but the tone is different from what has seemed to be popularly acceptable or accepted on a popular level. Yes, his messaging is quite different from most mainstream music, and I think that is very exciting. That said, I fundamentally disagree with the core message of Rich Men North of Richmond, and I hope it's actually some of his other messaging that ultimately gets the benefit of the viral video. But Rich Men of North Richmond quite clearly places the blame on rich men in Washington, D.C. It's pretty clear on that point. This is, however, fundamentally a divisive message. There is blame for those men, to be sure, but I believe the message that really needs to take root is personal responsibility for all. We all need to offer more patience and kindness and trust and have stronger work ethics and more discipline and so forth. The rich man was born the same way the poor man was. It's not that the rich man has a more evil nature. We are born the same and are corrupted by experience and ideology. When rich men cannot trust the witch-hunting, cancel culture whims of the masses, they are sure to operate on self-interest. It all boils down to respect and trust and character. Responsibility and resources should be distributed in the way that best helps all and best supports all of society. With that said, there is messaging in Oliver's song that has bridged a lot of different groups of people together. But here's my other primary point that I want to make. I wonder to what extent it is actually a net negative when the messages most important to us are expressed and distributed successfully on the internet. I wonder to what extent it actually creates change, and to what extent the fact the message got out lulls good people into a false sense of security. In other words, folks mistake the message distribution for actual change, and then nothing happens because it's miscategorized in people's brains. I had a similar feeling when Jordan Peterson caught on. As soon as he started taking mainstream interviews, it was as though his message weakened. When the message gets out and everyone sees it, and then nothing changes, the ultimate resounding message is that the noble message has no power. And so ultimately, the brave new world is happy to open the doors to the noble champion and suffer public intellectual defeats, all to remind us that's not where the power is, and we don't know where to start. I'm not exactly sure how to pinpoint this with words, but hopefully that gives you at least a vague idea of what I mean. If Oliver Anthony is representative of the downtrodden working man, does anything change when he is accepted with open arms and crowned king? Or is it just another chance to lull the masses into complacency? My thought is until folks get off the internet and start talking and living with their neighbors and putting time into community instead of TV, we will be surrendering our sovereignty to those that have the good contact information and keys to the algorithms. If you haven't listened to the song, though, go do it. It's a great listen. Thanks for watching my video. Like, share, subscribe. See you in the next one.